Afternoon, everyone. Isaiah again, and joining me is Janela Carrera, the Department of Public Health and Social Services spokesperson. Good morning, Janela.
Good morning, Isaiah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. So I wanted to follow up to see what's the latest in regards to student PEBT.
Sure. We're working really hard to try and get the latest round or the second round of summer program P-EBT to students and parents. The latest update that we have is that we were able to secure the Micronesia Mall as a distribution site. We were also eyeing the possibility of the Aguon Shopping Center as another location. Unfortunately, at this time, that's not going to happen because right now it's also being used as a vaccination site. And so we know that parking space is going to be very limited. Also, Ross just opened there. So unfortunately, we weren't able to secure that. But people are familiar with the Micronesia Mall because that was a distribution site in the past. So we are going to be using that again. Right now, we haven't finalized the agreement for the Micronesia Mall, but we did have some discussions with the Micronesia Mall management. So that is going to be hopefully finalized soon. And then as far as the timeline, the goal, because it is in the approved plan, is to hopefully have it distributed or loaded, the benefits loaded by March. However, that is tentative. Even in the approved plan, it does say tentative. So although that is the goal, it could change. So I just want to emphasize that. We do want to have them loaded by March, but it could change and it depends on other factors. There are logistical factors that could impact that, such as making sure that we have our vendors, all of that completed, and then other factors also that could change that timeline as far as loading the benefits. One thing that I do want to note is that funding is not an issue. Once everything is in place, everything's finalized, all the vendors are secured, all the names, and all of that is done. We've secured the location. We've finalized all the agreements. We just need to notify FNS and let them know. And then the funds get loaded onto the cards. And then we notify all the parents and the students, get together with GDOE. And then we announce it to the public and they can come and pick up the cards if they don't have them or if they lost them. And if they still have them, then obviously it just gets loaded onto their cards and they can start using them.
Got it. And to say if someone did lose their cards or if parents or students did lose their cards, how would that process go? Would there be a separate line for those individuals compared to those who need to pick up new cards for the some 7,000 students that were approved for this PEBT route?
Yeah, so that's all part of the planning that we're working on. So what we want to do is, of course, try to make it as smooth as possible. If you'll recall, the first round of PEBT at the Micronesia Mall, the first day or two had some, some kinks. The lines were really long at the Micronesia Mall. There were some parents whose students weren't on the list, so we had to kind of send them back and work with GDOE. And then after like maybe a few days, all those issues were ironed out and we were able to work a system where, parents were able to just come in and pick up their cards. And by the end of it, it was very, very smooth. So we want to work a system where parents can just come in, bring their students or their IDs, bring their names of their students, whatever identification is necessary, birth certificate and all that, and then pick up their cards and not have to worry about all the issues that they had faced in the beginning. So that's what we're trying to work on, all those details, all the logistics, working with the National Guard like we did in the past, so that once we open up the site, none of those issues will arise like it did in the beginning, in the first round. We may get a few kinks like we did in the past, but we're hoping it won't be like it was last year. So one of the things that's going to be a little new this time is we're probably not going to see the big line like we did before, because the number of cards that we're going to be distributing is going to be significantly less. I'm anticipating to be distributing some 26,000 cards like we did before. Now, if there are parents who misplaced their cards or lost them, then they can always come in and pick up a new card. And then there are going to be, like you mentioned, some 7,000 new parents who will be picking up their cards or picking up new cards. So of course, we're going to be servicing those parents as well. But I don't think it's going to be like the same type of activity like we did before. And then for, we are also planning, now this isn't finalized either, but we are also planning to have RandCare, which is our office in Tumaning, also be a distribution site as a backup, but that one's not yet finalized either. And we'll make that announcement official once we have all the details.
All right, and just to clarify, this is still a one-time issue of the $438 and then no more P-EBT for this round or for these this batch of students.
That's correct. So it's a one-time issuance. Again, as you mentioned, $438. And then, you know, we'll work toward the current school year. I know that there was some days where students did miss out, especially in the beginning of the school year. So that's something we're also working toward. And then once we get those details finalized in the future, then we can work on that. But for now, it's a one-time issuance for the summer program from last school year. And then once that's done and people or families, parents, students have used those funds up, then that's completed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Janela, for doing this interview. Is there anything else you'd like to add on?
You know, we just want to say, I know that we've been getting a lot of inquiries. I know KUAM, the link has been getting a lot of inquiries. I know that parents are eager. I can imagine that, you know, times are tough. You know, but we just really appreciate everyone's patience and just ask for continued patience. We're doing everything we can to try to get this loaded as soon as possible. And we'll make that announcement. We are actually working on the press release and hoping to get that out today, maybe in the next, I'm really hoping in the next day or so, we'll have the announcement to the public.
All right, thank you so much, Janela, and everyone. Like Janela mentioned earlier, this is a one-time issuance of $438, and they hope to get the funds out into the P-EBT cards by the end of the month. Reporting for KUAM News, Guam Department of Education.